All right, so this exhibit is something special. This is one of the 1873 trapdoor single-shot Springfield rifles, which were adopted in order to fight the Indians at the Battle of Little Bighorn at some distance. Of course, Custer being able to march almost right into their village kind of defeated the purpose of using a long-range rifle over a repeaters. But by that time, the Army had traded in the Civil War repeating Spencers in favor of the long-range rifles. It was actually a decision that Major Reno was involved in shortly prior to Little Bighorn and selecting the rifles that were used on the Great Sioux campaign. So right here we see a number of swords, mostly officer dress swords, which were never used in actual combat. But right here, one of the most interesting ones, because the Japanese do not mess around in making a good quality sword. This is a Japanese World War II sword here at the Cody Museum in LeClaire, Iowa. Of course, Cody did not live to see World War II, but in keeping with the spirit and tradition of representing all of America's armed forces and adventurous, world fighters and different versions of military and cavalry and throughout the ages, each item is very well represented. And I wish I had more knowledge to explain each and every one. There's so much to see, and it's very neatly cluttered in a good way with all kinds of beautiful artifacts. Up here is a Winchester. This came after Little Bighorn. This is an 1887 model. And over here, I thought I'd draw special attention to this belt buckle, because I did not know that this was a standard, Union Army officer belt buckle. I thought that Custer, because who is sometimes depicted with this eagle, might have had a special one made just for him. Of course, on his actual yellow flag, it includes like an eagle. His battle flag was a yellow one with an eagle similar to this. Company K of the 20th Iowa. I think that my co-author Walt Cross from the first Strange Look book might have done a little research for this. I don't know though. And of course, little miniatures. Original flags back in those days. Oh wait, it says right here, the 13-star American flag. This is not the same as the one designed by Betsy Ross and approved in 1876. That flag had 13 stars in a circle. We are not sure this flag was ever an approved version. So there are many different variations of the American flag depending on the number of states admitted to the Union, and this may have been one of them. May have been at a time when the official flag was not so universally known, in a time when we didn't have television, internet, and strict rules and procedures as to what kind of flag you can bear. This was probably one of the ones made by a everyday person to celebrate his American heritage. And of course here a big portrait of Andersonville, the notorious prison, POW camp for Union prisoners ran in the South. And it says here, as it appeared when it contained 35,000 prisoners of war. And there are people who are more knowledgeable about this prison and exactly all the horrors of it than I am. But this was, as usual, the exhibits are awesome here. And I'm a little ways away from the Cody section of the museum. This is actually local LeClaire stuff, and old sports jerseys. And this I really appreciate here in the museum is you got these really wonderful, like almost kind of movie poster sized glass casings you just flip through aimlessly. Of course, photography, if not recording, is warmly welcomed. Ooh. I gotta say that compared to most of the museums I've been to, this has delightfully a lot more to see than the Winterset Museum for John Wayne, of course. He was an famous film actor. This has a lot of period accurate stuff. And when I say period accurate stuff, I mean, you know, John Wayne's movies, I don't know if they were ever fully as accurate as they should have been. But when you look at this stuff, I mean, it's the real deal. Here is a hat. It's not Abraham Lincoln's actual hat, but it's a good representation of something he might have worn. It's a classic stovepipe hat. Belonged to William Becker of LeClaire, Iowa. This is a Abraham Lincoln document. Or no, maybe his glasses right there. Or similar glasses that he would have worn at the very least. Oh yeah, and you know, as it appears, looks like we have an authentic letter from Abraham Lincoln. And so if my friend Jeff is ever watching this video, Abraham Lincoln, that's one of the more whimsical parts of the Hateful Eight movie, which is kind of hard to show to everyone, given one of the most horrible scenes that are in that movie. But the letter from Lincoln is one of the more memorable and wholesome parts of that movie. Is that a letter from Lincoln? Yep. Abraham Lincoln.